We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is not necessarily the stream that we were doing earlier, but let's get into talking all about Kane Wilson. Let's talk about Ben Osborn, obviously Jake Rooney as well. Another player potentially heading out the door across the course of the next few days. But we're going to cover it all in this live stream. We're going to talk about everything that's going off in terms of transfers and news and things like that, because obviously there's a lot of work for Derby County to do across the course of the next few weeks. Well, I say the next few weeks, it's really the next few days, isn't it, where Derby County have got to deal with the likes of Ben Osborn. They've got to deal with what's going to happen with Joe Ward, what's going to happen with Kane Wilson. Obviously Wilson sort of heading out the way as well, but we're going to cover all that in the stream. And Obviously, let me know what you're thinking in the chat as well. Obviously, we'll get to you over on TikTok as well in just a second. So it is a very, very interesting position that we find ourselves in. But let's sort of take a look at it. Kane Wilson has obviously been given the opportunity to go to MK Dons, and it looks as if he's going to take it. But I don't necessarily think it's the right move. But we will cover it anyway. Osborn is going Plymouth. It looks that way. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Why would he go to the Dons? Do you know something? Who actually knows? Do you think Travis and Johnston will start tomorrow? Judging by the conversation that John Eustace had with the media, I'd say it's a massively high possibility both players start tomorrow, which will be very, very interesting to see sort of how that all shakes out with, obviously, with Travis coming into the midfield, with Johnston coming in at right back, right wing back. I just think it'll be a very, very interesting circumstance for Derby County to have to deal with. What is the fee for Wilson, Lewis, if you know? There was a few people in stream earlier on saying that it's around £700,000, but I don't really know. I think it's a difficult one to really put a finger on with Kane Wilson, because yes, he is a good player, in my opinion. I think many people agree. He's going to MK Dons, Driller. Yeah, he is a good player, don't get me wrong. But you've got to look at the situation and sort of go, is he good enough to sort of grow with us, with Wilson? And I personally believe he is. I personally believe he's a player who can certainly keep us going and sort of push us on that promotion push. But obviously, like, he's decided that he doesn't want to do it, and that's sort of the problem that we find ourselves in. Osborn, I understand, but Wilson was one of our best players last season. That's sort of the issue with me personally. Wilson's going to MK Dons. We could have used further forward instead of Jackson, better than him. That is obviously a move that could have happened, but obviously it doesn't seem as if it's going to. Kane Wilson isn't good enough for the Championship. I think he's good enough for the Championship. I just think sort of in terms of short-term gain, I just don't think it's there with him, because he's one of those players who I think he has all the ability, but he's got the injuries. Appreciate the follow, Thomas. Welcoming, mate. I'd take a point at Portman Road, but we need wins sooner rather than later. I completely agree. How's it going? Finally Friday? Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, mate. It is difficult. 1.25 million, I heard. I wouldn't be against 1.25 million. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be a really good bid. Wilson for me isn't good enough. Beats his man, yes. But after that, yeah, that is true. Going to League Two definitely doesn't make any sense. His final pass. Use Wilson as a winger. We need one. Well, it doesn't seem as if that's going to happen anymore. It looks as if that is sort of all said and done. But we're sort of going to have to wait and see how that progresses, because in terms of our squad, we sort of need, we don't need bodies, we need players in, so that in terms of that wing position, so that we can sort of get better. And if Eustace doesn't think Wilson is that guy, Eustace doesn't think Wilson is that guy, and that's sort of a difficult position. Osborn to Plymouth is a good deal for him. Yeah, it's a good deal for him and for us, because it'll take wages off us. Tap the screen, absolutely. Get yourselves tapping that screen on TikTok. I assume our attack with everyone fit will be Adjiman, Clark, Brewster and Morris. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Obviously, those of you in YouTube, TikTok, wherever, let me know your thoughts on the Kane Wilson deal down in the comments. I'm actually going to drop a poll on YouTube of Kane Wilson, about Kane Wilson. Kane Wilson leaving. Let me see. Kane Wilson leaving. Good or bad? Question mark. North, if you're in the chat, could you put a poll up about Kane Wilson leaving, whether it's good or bad? Obviously, those of you in the chat, jump in, give an answer, everything like that. Where's Osborn going? Looks as if he's going to be heading to Plymouth, but we're waiting for sort of confirmation of any deals and stuff like that. I think dropping 2 leagues is a big drop for him. Yeah, I completely agree. But next season will most likely be in League One. Yeah, but also he's then going to be, what, 26, 27, and he's going to be in that position where no one's really going to take the punt on him because he's not given that opportunity. I expect, other than Wilson and Osborn, there'll be more outgoings. Yeah, me too. I completely believe that as well. I personally can't see a world where we don't end the transfer window without 5 or 6 players going out, really. And Wilson and Osborn are just 2. Rooney's another one who could be heading out over the course of the next few days. So it is going to be interesting to see. It's better to cash in whilst we can. Absolutely agree. I don't disagree. I just think the 1-ish million offer that we've heard is very, very cheap, if I'm honest. I like Wilson, but I feel like he was injured too much. He has had a couple of big injuries at Derby. Obviously, when he came to us, didn't play for the first, 5 or 6 games because of an injury. Then got injured during that season as well. Obviously, then picked up a big injury last year, which has kept him out for pre-season. Had an injury early on in the season as well. So I completely understand people's thought process in terms of injuries and things like that, because it is difficult to sort of keep your wits about you in terms of a player who has picked up some major injuries over the course of the year. I think I'd rather let Niambi go than Wilson. Yeah, I don't disagree on that. I think Niambi could probably be another one out the door, but we will wait and see. Rooney will class as homegrown under 21, so we don't have to register him as a slot if we decide to keep him. I think isn't he classified as over 21 now, Jack? I could be wrong, but I thought he was classified as above 21 now. It's a very hard one, as I would love him to stay, as he was one of the best attacking players last season, and we need wingers. Yeah, it is a difficult position that we find ourselves in, I'm not going to lie, because Wilson is a good player, but you bring in Johnston for nearly £4 million. Wilson's not going to be a starter anymore, and he obviously wants to play football. That's part and parcel of what he's trying to do, and ultimately that's something that he's going to have to deal with at MK Dons, where he's going to be starting. He's going to be sort of the best player. Is Wilson going confirmed? It's pretty much done. Yeah, we're just waiting for... Well, we're pretty much waiting for announcements at this point, really. Let's not sort of beat around the bush. I know this is transfer news, but what manager career mode team should I do? Stockport. Is it crazy to say this? Could be Ibu's last season. I can't see him wanting to sit on the bench. I've thought that for a while, to be honest, mate. Is Wilson going confirmed? Looks that way. Where's Osborn going? Looks like Plymouth. Jack, will Wilson be confirmed tonight? I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest. Obviously, if it is, I'll obviously make sure I'm on stream and stuff so we can talk about it. He was 21 before the season started, only turned 22 last week, so I presume... Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Jack. How well do you think Lewis Travis will do? I think he'll be great for us, to be honest. All right, I'll have you on in the background as that is going to be hard. Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all, mate. But I think Travis will be fine. I think Travis will be really good. Why is Wilson going? MK Dons have made him an offer, it seems, and I imagine that he's being given quite a decent chunk of change, if I'm honest, mate. If he wants 20k, give him 20k. But when you've just bought in a right back like Johnston, do you really want to then be spending that much money on a backup? Is that really the smart play? That's sort of where I sit on the fence at the moment, because yes, he's a good player, but where is he going to go? I feel like we will get Patrick Roberts. It could happen. Is he still at Sunderland, Patrick Roberts? I think Jack Clark's been made available for loan as well by Ipswich, but we'll wait and see. Has there been any interest in Ibu, because he's probably going to be Travis and Ozo as the main starters? Yeah, I don't disagree. There was interest earlier on in the window from Championship clubs, but nothing seems to have been said. And in terms of Derby, I think the money we're probably going to be asking for is going to be way too much, if I'm completely honest with you. But we will wait and see. Where's Osborn going? Reports are suggesting he's going to Plymouth Argyle. Wilson is too good for League Two. Wilson could play on the right wing. Why is Warren stealing our player? I don't think it's a case of Warren stealing our player. I think Wilson wants to go, if I'm honest. He's not signed a new contract, a longer term one, so Wilson is too good for League Two. Where's Osborn going? Plymouth, Oliver, Plymouth. Absolutely not. Ibu has been our heart and passion. No way you start Ozo over Ibu. I think Ozo is by far a better player, in my personal opinion. Osborn's Plymouth, yeah. Wilson will tear up League Two. He will. I'm all for these two going. I'm not against it, let's put it that way. No surprises over Osborn. Such a shame to see Wilson go. Yeah, that's sort of where my sort of standpoint is. Like, I don't really want to see Wilson go, but in terms of Osborn, I'm not particularly bothered, if that makes sense. I think it's one which makes a lot of sense. But Wilson is one which it just hurts a little bit. Good evening. I think Travis will be captain tomorrow. That would be a statement by John Eustace. That would be a massive statement. Ozo can't play 90 minutes though. He gets gassed out after 50. Do you think Ibu will go? I don't think he'll go summer, maybe January. Wilson's your best creative player. Yeah, but we've brought in Bobby Clark, Brewster to sort of counter that. Wilson isn't a massive loss. I don't believe so with the signings we've brought in. Be interesting to see how they fare with injuries, especially Wilson. Yeah, Wilson's not a massive loss. It's not that I think Wilson's a massive loss. I just think it's one of those players that you sort of like to have in the building. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can cause a threat. And put it this way, right? If you play Johnston for 70 minutes, right, in a back three, let's say, then you sort of put it in a position. Appreciate the follow, Chloe. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you are okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But in terms of what he can do with a ball at his feet and stuff like that, I don't necessarily think Wilson is like the best thing we've got, you know? So appreciate the follow, Jay Tingy. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're okay. Is Kane actually leaving? Looks that way, Kai. Play Wilson, Johnston, left back, right back. Well, I think Wilson's going to be gone. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. At least Ben Osborn can tell his grandkids he played for his hometown club. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Is it a bit confusing we are getting rid of Kane Wilson when the other option is Caden Jackson? Well, yeah. That is a bit confusing. Why is he going to League Two though? I'm assuming money, Jay. I'm assuming money. Who's who going to? Osborn, Plymouth, Wilson, MK Dons. Wilson not good enough for 90 minutes, a bit too slow for me. Don't necessarily think he's slow. I just think he's got injury issues and leg issues and stuff like that. I do worry for our left-back situation. Elder is injury-ridden and mediocre. I think left-back will be something we deal with in January. Fozzie is too old. Beck is young. Yeah, Wilson doesn't want to stay, so get money. Agree. Get rid of Osborn. Looks to be going that way. Signing Johnston at attacking fullback makes sense. To let Wilson go, I agree. The Osborn move may not happen because he's got loads of family in Derby. It's only a loan from what I'm aware, Sam. It's only a loan. Wilson needs to stay. I think the deal's pretty much done, to be honest with you. MK Don's way better than League Two. Yeah, he is. He is better than League Two. I agree on left back. Elder doesn't do it for me. Loves an injury. Agree. Permanent or loan? So Wilson will be permanent. Osborn will be a loan. League One pending? Not necessarily, because we've just spent 4 million on Wilson's replacement. We have, so I'm not too worried about that. Why would he drop down 2 leagues? You chat some crap. Well, you say that I chat crap, right? But if you go on to Twitter, right, type in Dom Dietrich, right, who is Derby County's journalist for Derby County's journalist for everything, right? And he tweeted out, I will tell you the tweet direct from a journalist, mate. Like, it's not as if it's just one person. It's like there's quite a few people reporting it. Elder is decent attacking, but his defensive ability is poor. Agree. If I could combine Fozzie and Elder, yeah. Get rid of Osborn, one of our highest paid players, yeah. So, in terms of what's been said on Wilson, latest on Kane Wilson, as I understand it, bid has been made by MK Dons, likely to be accepted by Derby County as they look to move players on between now and 7 on Monday. Live on Sports Scene Preview to discuss it. That is the situation. That is the situation. Whether you agree with it or not is a completely different conversation. I reckon we loan Blackett Taylor. I think Blackett Taylor will go in January. This is insane. Wilson was easily our best player last 2 seasons. He was, but he also had those sort of injury problems as well. So wasn't Barnsley looking to sign him? To sign Wilson, Links, or Jackson? You heard anything about the winger from Valencia? Nothing since that day, unfortunately. No shit, it was his gaffer for 1.5 years. Yep, it was. We won't get much for Blackett Taylor, agree. Off to play for Warren, yes. Wilson, please don't go. Left wing predictions for tomorrow or in general? I think we're in a difficult situation in terms of the wing positions in general. Well, I'd like to get Canos in. I think in terms of... I wouldn't be opposed to Lawrence on a free till January, just as a body. But I don't really think we're going to play with wingers. Wingers are just extremely hard to come by, even if you look at the top leagues. The wingers for most clubs are terrible. Yeah, wingers are really difficult. And when you find a good one, they end up like at one of the top clubs really quickly, whether they're good enough or not. And any of the good like young wingers that are like coming into their prime now is you look at like, well, they're not coming into their prime, but they should be like making debuts and stuff in the Championship. You look at someone like Kellyman, Gordon, like those type of players that have left us that now would probably be starters for us. Now ultimately aren't getting a game because they've gone to top clubs and struggled. Probably midfielders playing higher up like Ward or maybe even Elder. I think Ward could play on the right. Lawrence can cover a variety of positions, would be a great shout. Yeah, literally. I'm not saying that Lawrence should be like a starter or anything like that. But I think if he's fit, he's a great option off the bench. For me, I'm guessing Travis gets his debut tomorrow. Yeah, I think both Travis and Johnston will start. Appreciate the subscriber. Welcome in, Jay. Hope you're okay, mate. Welcome in, Jamie. Hope you're okay. Lewis, how are you based on Kane Wilson? Now that we've signed Johnston, I'm not too fussed. Appreciate the gifts, Millie. Welcome in. Now that we've got Johnston, I'm not too fussed. If this was a week ago, I'd have had issues. Have we got Lawrence or is it predicted? It's something that I'm thinking about. It's not necessarily something that's going to happen or not. Wilson's a decent player, but very predictable going forward and very strong, but he's not a wing. Yeah, I agree. Do you think Wilson will go? I think there's a possibility. Where's Osborn off to? It looks like it's going to be Plymouth. Reckon Selverson will be on the bench. No, I don't think Selverson or Adjumang will be involved tomorrow, to be honest. Do you think Wilson will go? Yes. I'm pretty certain of it, to be honest. Is Zetterstrom leaving Derby County? Waiting for confirmation of a bid, and there's been no confirmation from anyone sort of close to Derby County, so we're going to have to wait and see. I can't lie, I disagree. I think Wilson is a class player. Don't get me wrong, I think Wilson is a very, very good footballer, and I think he can impact defences and things like that. But the problem that you have with Wilson is that injury situation. And when you bring in someone like Johnston, who's 21 years old, a Scottish international, played in Europe, you can't really sort of then put him on the bench for me. But obviously everyone can have their own opinions. Selverson was good, wish he got more of a chance. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury, didn't he? So it'll be interesting to see where he sort of goes. I've heard nothing on Zetterstrom in the last few days, so he isn't going in. Yeah, I wouldn't anticipate it, Sam. 5 million for Zetterstrom is fair. I'd be asking more for like 6 or 7 because of where we are in the window. I think he's better than Johnston. I disagree on that. Adjumang, to be honest. Any more on wingers? Nothing at the moment. Warren is renowned for having his old players. Yeah, he is. Is there anyone else you want from Blackburn? You want the pitch as well? I'll take your thingy. I'll take your goalkeeper if Zetterstrom goes. I think Wilson is more of a winger. Wilson's main strength is picking up the ball and driving, and I don't think you can do that as a winger unless you play really deep. Vickers is good, but we need Zetterstrom. I love Zetterstrom. I personally wouldn't want him to go. Is Kenzo going? Doubt it. Zero output tricks, get himself into a dead end. Agree. Surprised Osborn is going there. Wanted to stay local his whole career. Yeah, whether it happens or not is an interesting one. It's not yet being confirmed, but they want him, if that makes sense. Appreciate the follow, WBA. Welcome in. Zetterstrom has got to put his hat back on. I reckon he'll have it on tomorrow, I won't lie. Jackson, Ward, Osborn can go. They're hopeless. One couldn't pass 10 yards on Friday. it is difficult with Joe Ward because he's got great delivery, but in short spaces, I don't think he's that good. But we'll wait and see. Kane did have injuries a lot. Osborn, farewell, good luck. Exactly. Cornish, Janner and Life of Pi, would be pleased to see Wilson at home park. Yeah, 100%. Will Derby buy a few players? I think there will be some moves made. But Ibu and Yates, the whole team has had injury problems. Stop talking rubbish. Well, yeah, of course, but that's why we're making changes to the squad, mate. Yates has gone Luton. Yes, he has. Our team's getting stronger. Yeah, I agree. Up the Albion. Yeah, nothing wrong with the Albion. We always beat you, so I don't mind you. Loan Kenzo eventually. Depending on how this half of the season goes, he might go in January. Should get a couple of mil for him then if they want him. I think it's a loan, unfortunately. I've heard activated your T-Ladies transfer clause. Yeah. Think we'll get something tomorrow. Team will look a lot different. I agree. Have they both already left? Not yet. Hate Jackson. Bit harsh. Ward will be incredibly useful. Crossing. I agree. Need him at Pride Park. It's one of those things, isn't it? Up the spy rights, welcome in Chesterfield. Hope Kenzo don't go. I don't know if he will. It's a difficult one because obviously a very, very talented footballer, but we don't really play his way at the moment. Now, whether that changes now we've brought in Lewis Travis and things like that, I'm not sure. But it's definitely something that needs to change. Ajimang when? I'm assuming after Ipswich. I like Kenzo. I just wish he was a bit stronger further up the pitch. Yeah, I agree. Joe Ward whipping balls into Morris and Ajimang's a dream. Positive from the Burnley game. Looked a bit more structured. Yeah, I agree. Not really leaving a sinking ship. He's been replaced. What is the chances of him going? In terms of Wilson, I think it's pretty set up. Any news on QPR or just Derby in here, Archie? No worries, mate. No worries. Kenzo isn't strong in general. Agree. What's the fee for Wilson? There's rumours ranging between 700 and 1.2 million. We'll have to wait and see sort of how it goes. Who is Kenzo going to? Kenzo's going nowhere at the moment. My mate is a Derby fan. He says Wilson to MK Dons is the sign of the season across all leagues. It is a great move for MK Dons. Appreciate that, Archie. Welcome in, mate. Welcome in. Replaced by someone even more shit. Someone who's played in the Champions League, Smokey. Someone who's played in the Champions League. So, if that means shit, who knows? Dream on Ward is Lucius. Did you not go on Friday? What are you watching? Well, on Friday, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Ward's header which Derby County scored from. But up the Rams, keep up the news. Appreciate that, Geordie. Predictions for the Ipswich game. I'm saying 1-0. I'm just not sure which way yet. Wilson or a UCL right back. I know what I'm saying. Exactly. Is Mr. Marinakis holding you at gunpoint? Definitely. Niambi. What? At right back, Oliver? Who do you think Wilson is going to? It looks as if he's going MK Dons. Who wants him? Kenzo. I don't think anybody wants Kenzo at the moment. But I think if he was available, someone takes him for me. How much we getting for Wilson? It's always 1-0, not knowing which one. Well, the thing is, right, we're just not ourselves yet. So it's hard to sort of judge it. I think we can win the game, but I also think we've got opportunities to not win the game because of our defensive structure at the moment. How much are we getting for Wilson? The rumours between 700 and 1.5 mil. Are you doing Watchalong tomorrow? Yes, I am. Wilson does that. It's stupid. I agree. Predicted lineup for tomorrow. So I'm going Zetterstrom in goal, a back five of Johnston on the right, Sanderson, Bart and Clark, Elder or Fozzie on the left. I'm not sure if Elder's fit, to be quite honest. A midfield two of Ozo and Travis and a front three of Clark, Brewster and Morris. That's for me anyway. I think tomorrow will show a lot what we've been working on. I think we'll be playing 4-2-3-1. If we play 4-2-3-1, what's your midfield three, mate? What's your midfield three? Where's Osborn going? Looks as if he's going to Plymouth, Mike. Looks as if he's going to Plymouth. We're relying on defenders for wingers, sadly. Yeah, we are at the moment, unfortunately. Ibu has to play. Travis, Ozo, Ibu. But The thing that bothers me about Travis Ozonibo is there's no real creativity in there. It's all bark and no bite. Who's our best player right now in your opinion? I think I have to say Carlton Morris. I think that's the one which makes the most sense. One more Derby win till Christmas at this point. Who knows? My front four would be Morris, Clark, Brewster, Jackson. Have you then got 2 DMs, Ozone, Travis? Yeah. Fans need to realise Ebo is not as good as Travis. I don't expect Ebo to play him again. Yeah, I agree. What clubs are interested in Rooney? I believe it's Barnsley and Mansfield. I think Stockport has been mentioned as well, but I haven't seen anything on that. Do you reckon Wilson will go? Yes, I do, unfortunately. Didn't know there was a Sheepshoggers TikTok channel. Aren't you non-league now? No, we aren't, Dr. Pat. We are not non-league. No, not to League 2. We're what's it called? We've been going for a while over here on TikTok and YouTube. Nearly 2 years now. Eba will be coming on 60th minute, full of energy. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I think that'll be good for us in a defensive standpoint. Break up the play, stop the opposition making things happen and things like that. Fozzie needs one more game after Burnley. Yeah, I think... I don't know if Fozzie's going to be even fit to play, to be honest. Will you be shouting for Forest in Europe? I won't even watch Forest in Europe. I won't, to be honest with you, mate. I wish you could make Fozzie 5 years younger. Yeah, me too. Fozzie isn't good enough for the Championship, just a backup at max. Yeah, but you've got to think he's the only player who has, what's it called? He's been with us for what, the last 10 odd years? He's an incredible bloke. He is, Fozzie is. Supported Derby growing up his whole life. He did. Only started to sort of hide away from supporting Forest when he went to supporting Derby when he went to Forest. Bit gutted with Wilson leaving. Yeah, it is a disappointing one. It's not the worst thing in the world. Do you think Kane Wilson is the best ever signing League 2 club has ever made? Maybe. It's certainly going to be up there. I hope Fozzie gets a proper memorial game. Yeah, me too. Not really. Forest did that shit. They needed him. Yeah, he's one of our... Yeah, he is one of our own. He's a Derby fan through and through. He's always been very sort of open and honest about that. Which is why it baffles me when Forest fans call him one of their own, because he's not. So, Lewis, we should make a Discord server. It's funny you mention that, North, because someone actually made me a Discord server the other day. Didn't Fozzie sign a 2-year? Yes, he did, with so that he can get his coaching badges done. I'm gone. Sorry, my screen's just messed up. MK fan, what can we expect? Injuries, hard work. We'll run up and down the wing all day. We'll probably beat everybody on the pitch 3 times over and then put the ball out for a corner. A goal kick. He's good, but end product is a little bit lacking. Do you think Derby will be a club in Forest? Yes. Getting Fozzie on my shirt? Yeah, you should. Martin, Hendrick, Keogh, Booker, yeah. Are you hoping for Wayne Rooney back? No. Has he signed for MK? Not yet. My uncle played with Ben Osborn for Spondon Rovers. Fair. No chance. Appreciate the follow. No Store, welcome in. Thanks for the follow, everybody. Welcome everybody in. How you all doing? What's Harrison Armstrong like? Very, very good. You will, like, I'm assuming you're a Preston fan, Gutter. I'm assuming you're a Preston fan. He is unreal. He is unreal. Do you think Johnston is the new guy to replace Wilson? Yes, I do. 100%. 100% the Wilson replacement. But he was bought in for us to get better, so it doesn't surprise me, if that makes sense, mate. So, yeah. It's an interesting one. It is. A very, very interesting one. A win tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I've got every hope for a win. We don't need a replacement for Wilson, though. I think the club knew what was going on, if I'm honest. I don't think this situation has come as a shock to the club. I think that's the reason why we've targeted Johnston. Nyambi will be back up. Welcome in, Andy John. Hope you're okay. Johnston is the only reason I'm not crying about Kane leaving. Exactly, it makes it so much easier. I work with a few Derby fans. They said they'll struggle this season. You agree? No, and I don't think the Derby fans you've spoke to really know what's going on, if I'm honest. Wilson got a farewell game at least. Yeah. Luke Plange, no. Plymouth late bid for Osborn. Looks going to be that way. Didn't do much though. No, not really. We need a replacement for Nyambi. Yeah. But realistically, Nyambi is like the opposite of Wilson in terms of he can defend but not attack, whereas Wilson and Johnston can all attack. So it'll be interesting to see how it does shape up. I still think we need a midfielder. I think we're a bit tight. I think we're all right in midfield, to be honest, unless someone goes. Work or in a primary school, if that's spelled. Season ticket holders been going years, just said got no decent players. They've not been fit to play, but we have got decent players in. Can he? Haven't seen him so far this season. Who? Ajimang, who? 5 at the back, 3, Ibu, Travis Fireman, and Morris and Brewster at the front. Maybe. We have too many midfielders now. I'm not sure if we have too many midfielders. I don't think you can ever have too many midfielders, to be honest. Nyambi. Yeah, he's not been great, but it's all part of sort of the process, isn't it? I'd say a guy who scored 20 plus goals in a promotion season and 14 in the Prem is good. Yeah, me too. Couldn't go Nyambi at the back, then drop Sanderson. You could, yeah. You could put Nyambi as that right centre half and then Sanderson on the bench. What about Joe Ward? Can't defend, can't attack, can't run, only pass. Just get him on for free kicks. Did you watch the United game? Watch the back end of it as Johnston was signed. Yes, Northside. It wasn't great, was it? It was not great. Honestly, I'd rather play Sanderson than Bart. You're not the only one. Well, it's a difficult situation, Sanderson and Bart, because they've both sort of been a bit iffy. Nyambi always getting turned inside out by wingers. Yeah, but he's barely ever been beat by a winger, to be honest. Sanderson was amazing versus Bristol. Sanderson was good on Tuesday as well against Burnley. I'd rather play Fozzie than Sanderson. Interesting. Right then. And that. Couldn't watch Burnley as my Fire Stick glitched. Fair. Do you reckon Kane Wilson will go? Yes, I do. To be honest though, other than Sonny Bradley, we've been privileged with good centre-backs. Yeah, I agree. We've had some very good centre-backs. To be fair, 750k to $1 million for half a season Kane is a good deal, especially if he doesn't want to sign a new deal. Yeah, for me, in terms of Wilson, I was just anticipating him to stay in the Championship. Like, that's sort of where I was on that. It's like, I really thought he'd end up at like a Coventry or a Bristol City or something. What's for tea tonight? I'm having the Peppers ex Vindaloo from Iceland. I'm not actually sure. The missus is sorting that out. Wilson leaving. It looks that way, Beza, unfortunately. Looks as if he's heading to MK Dons. How much have we spent now? I believe it's about 16 million. All in, I think it's about 16, but I'm not entirely sure. Sanderson needs minutes, but I don't know how we're going to get that without dropping points. To be fair, I don't think Sanderson had anything to do with losing on Tuesday. Or, well, maybe Covey did. I think it's 13.5. Yeah, that might be about right. Just had some chips. Nice. I'm glad Wilson going to League 2. At least he can't give us rampage. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Predicted lineup. So, predicted lineup wise, I'm going for a 3-4-3. Zetterstrom in goal. A back 5 of Johnson on the right. Sanderson, Bart and Clark as the back 3. With Elder or Fozzie on the left. I'm not quite sure about Elder's fitness. They didn't really talk much about fitness in the presser, to be honest. Then the midfield 2, I've got as Ozo and Travis, with a front 3 of Clark, Brewster and Morris. And then I think you bring on Ibu Adams after 60, 70 minutes. You've got Vyman to come off the bench. Jackson can come off the bench, Ward off the bench. So I think Zetterstrom has to bench. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest, mate, personally. To be honest, midfielders and Clark weren't marking against Bristol. Yeah, exactly. It's always a bit of an odd one, isn't it, to be fair? Why would you go from Champ to League 2? In my personal opinion, it's money. But I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense. Zetterstrom is the reason why we got a point. Yeah, I agree. Zetterstrom or Vickers. I prefer Zetterstrom for me. Vickers needs a chance. Zetterstrom are good, but he needs to catch the ball, yeah. Lewis, do you have a PS or Xbox? I've got Xbox. Agimang, I've got Xbox. Zetterstrom, Johnston, Sanderson, Clark, Bart, Elder, Adams, Ozo, Clark, Brewster, Morris, going 5-3-2. It's not too far from what I said, to be honest, mate. Not too far. If Zetas goes, we have to have another keeper in mind. Yeah, I agree. I haven't noticed Bart make a mistake yet, so yeah, you're not wrong. What games do you play? FC, NBA, things like that. If I'm honest with you, I think my stream is on a thingy. I think it's on gaming, isn't it? Let me just change this to chatting. Can you change it to chatting? I have no idea how you do this. Who knows? Who knows? There we go. I don't want to be on gaming anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll deal with that later. You got good hopes for Edgeman? I have once he's fit, yes. I'm claiming I'm the best at FC25, by the way. Fair enough. What rating is your FC team? I haven't actually played Ultimate Team or anything this year, Agimang, but I have pre-ordered FC26 and I'm going to stream it. Who would you get to replace Zetas and who's available to replace him? Honestly, in my head, Sam Tickle is the number one option. Is he at Wigan? I think he's at Wigan. Sanderson is overhated. I understood at first after the Stoke game, but now, yes. I always remember Fozzie's scissor kick goal. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was fairly decent. It was. Good shout with the GK. Would defo improve us. Yeah, Tickle's what? 23, 24? So he's got at least another 10 odd years in him. So whatever we pay, so long as he plays for us and does half decently, he'll probably step up as well. So for me, I'm not really complaining about it, to be honest. Is Kane Wilson leaving? It does look that way, Alfie, unfortunately. Mr. Tickle is so good. Yeah. Whenever I've watched him, he's always looked good. So it is an interesting one. It is. See where it goes. Paul Warren taking all his ex-Derby County players back like Mendes Lang. Yeah. You going Ipswich tomorrow? No, I'm going to be live doing a watch-along, mate. Derby Rovers FC, maybe. Who's he going to? Looks as if he's going to MK Dons, Alfie. I will be live tomorrow from like 2 p.m-ish. So if you haven't done so already, hit like, hit follow, all that jazz. Hit subscribe, follow on Twitch. Do you know if we had a sell-on clause for Delap forever, maybe that's where we got more money from? We do have an ongoing sell-on clause for Delap. See you later, Patrick. Welcome in, mate. Bye-bye. Have a good evening. We do have a sell-on clause for Delap, but we get a percentage of whatever whatever City get. That's sad because he's actually a good player. Yeah, he is a very good player. Right, I'm gonna call it there. I know it's been a bit of a short one this evening. Obviously, earlier was jumped on 2K for a bit, but I'm gonna jump off, go and have something to eat. I'll be back tomorrow around 2 o'clock for a live watch along. I might come live at like 10 to discuss like lineups and things like that. But we will wait and see how I'm feeling in the morning. Is Osborn leaving? Potentially Plymouth, Elfie. But thank you all for stopping by. I will be back at some point tomorrow for the game. If I'm not on before the game, I will be back for the game. But I will catch you tomorrow. Bye bye, everyone. See you later. Appreciate the follow. Someone just followed as I was walking out. Take care. Yeah, I'll see you later. Predict score tomorrow. 1-0 Derby. Let's go 1-0 Derby, Andy. Right, I'll catch you all tomorrow for the watch along. If you are able to stop by, that would be massively appreciated. But I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you all for stopping by. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.